Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin at patuloy. Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open.
What is going through your minds right now?
I'm so blank. I'm thinking of my parents who are watching.
A bombshell. The $1, 8 million of Alex Eala disclosed a secret. The Open in Australia Heartache that turned her into a legend. Cortiva Tennis welcomes you back. The only location where we don't merely observe the match, we experience the drama, the emotion, and the court splendor. If you believe you are aware of Alex Eala's tale, consider once more. We're not simply chatting today. Regarding backhands and forehands, we are discussing a discovery that has rocked the tennis world and painful conflicts beneath that demonstrated definitively that the heart of a victor beats more loudly in the Philippines more than any other place on the planet. However, prior to delving into the fire of Melbourne and the hysteria of her homecoming, we have to start with the headline that is everyone from the streets of Manila to the posh suites of Monte Carlo dropping their jaws. We are discussing a golden heart in a cruel sport. We are discussing Alex Eala is exceeding all expectations. Put on a 20-year-old celebrity. Within an action that has really astounded the Filipino tennis industry sensation is said to have donated her $1, 8 million in total for the competition profits and sponsorship agreements. You heard correctly. She didn't purchase a Ferrari. She didn't purchase a penthouse in New York. She accepted that hard-earned wealth and put it straight into a goal to construct 100 cozy, secure dwellings for those who are homeless. This isn't only charity. This is an assertion. This is a young lady who examined her bank account, observed her surroundings. I concluded that humanity is more important, rather than opulence. When questioned about why she might part with such a transformative amount of money at such a young age, her response was just as strong as her service. She just stated, "As a child, I saw such pain, and I was unable to watch helplessly by. Give that some time to register." As other up-and-coming stars pursue the next endorsement agreement to purchase a private island, Eala is laying the groundwork both physically and metaphorically. This action has changed her from a mere tennis player into a worldwide representation of kindness. It is evoking admiration, feeling, and to be honest, a few tears globally. However, this amazing gesture of generosity is only one facet of the intricate, exciting, and occasionally Alex Eala has just had a terrible week. Endured. Let's go back in time and take you to the blazing courts of Melbourne, the city where history was being written and emotions were put to the test. January 2026 was listed on the calendar. The Australian Open served as the backdrop, the location of the year's first Grand Slam where dreams die or become eternal. For Alex, this wasn't only one more competition. This was the major display. When she was 20 years old, she was making first debut in the main draw for both singles and doubles. The hype is absurd. The strain, astronomical. You must comprehend the context in this case. AA isn't just playing for herself. She is bearing the flag of a nation that eats, sleeps, and breathes pride for its athletes. Every time she steps on the court, millions of the Filipino people are holding their breath. Moreover, in Melbourne, the mood was electric. Court 6 was designated as the unofficial The Philippines headquarters. It was packed. I'm speaking standing room, shoulder to shoulder only. The intensity of the energy was such that in fact, the umpire had to repeatedly silence the throng. Can you picture that? The Filipino supporters were really boisterous, so fervently, yelling for each point that the authorities had to intervene. It was a lovely chaos. It displayed the world that when Alex Eala performs, she never plays by themselves. However, let's go on to the specifics of the action. The unmarried sketch. The rival, ranked 100th in the world, Parks, Alicia. On paper, this was a fight. It was actually a roller coaster. Emotional roller coaster that left us all out of breath. The game began and to be honest, the ELA had a terrible time. Camp. The initial set was a washout, a bagel, 6 adore Parks. It appeared to the day was going to be brief at the office. The detractors were honing their knives. However, this is the something about Alex Eala. You are unable to measure her performance by the scoreboard by itself. You must gauge it by the battle. Within the something clicked in the second set. That the heart, the renowned Puso, took over. Wasn't going to lose without a fight. She began determining her range and striking those piercing, deep ground strokes that we are familiar with and cherish. She retaliated, winning 6-3 in the second set. The on-court 6, the crowd erupted. The momentum had changed. Hope was still alive. Where everybody believed that this was it. The return is on. Even following the defeat, in the thick of the disappointment, the sixth court was endearing. She didn't bolt. She did not conceal themselves in the changing area. She remained. Autographs were signed by her. She took pictures. She grinned at the admirers who had traveled thousands of miles only to see her play for an hour. Later on, she acknowledged that the week had been a little overpowering, something she didn't anticipate that many individuals to be present, even at her rehearsals. Can you picture the mental toughness required to manage that? She is 20 years old. The majority college worries 20-year-olds. Examinations or party attire. Alex Eala is concerned about carrying the expectations of 100 million individuals while attempting to return a surf of 100 miles per hour. She talked about how she responds under this strain, disclosing a way of thinking that is beyond her comprehension. She refers to it as compartmentalization. She puts on headphones to block out background noise. She concentrates on the regimen. She informed the press, "It has such a competitive mentality that you're not considering what this does for the Philippines. You're considering what I should do in the following point." She won't look at the overall picture till the game is finished. She handles a main draw grand slam just similar to any other match. "I've completed a lot of matches in my life," she remarked. That is the calculating, icy mindset of the future top spot in the world. However, currently the Australian the dust has settled. The chapter in Melbourne is closed for the current year. Thus, what is the girl with the golden arm comes next. And the heart of gold? Returning home. Yes, it is correct. Following the heat of the Alex is going back to the Australian Open. Manila. However, she isn't returning just to recuperate and rest. She will return to work. She is anticipated to participate in the first ever Philippine Women's Open as an unpredictable card. This is very important news for local tennis. Eala's explosive ascent has increased interest in the sport throughout the archipelago, resulting with this WTA 125 being staged competition. It's a complete circle. She was the driving force behind the tournament's creation, and she is returning home to make headlines. Picture the situations in Manila when she enters the court. If Melbourne was boisterous, Manila will be deafening. There will be a celebration, honoring a national treasure who has entered the world, engaged in combat with the giants, and returned to share her go with her people. Additionally, as she gets ready for this return home, that $1.8 million contribution is in jeopardy as evidence of her true self. It frames all of her actions. When an athlete wins, we applaud them. However, when we learn about those 100 houses, we applaud the human race for the homeless. She claimed to be a tennis enthusiast. She stated to reporters, "I find the strength to fight for my passion for tennis. I adore the sound of tennis. Well, I adore it when the game is amazing, tight, and it's a crucial point. We adore the sound of it, too, Alex. The ball off your racket, but we adore the way your message sounds even more." Let's now discuss what this is all about. Meaning for the overall picture of tennis in the Philippines and the sport worldwide. Alex Eala's path is changing the story of what it means to compete as a Southeast Asian athlete on the world stage. For many years, Western Europe has dominated countries, North America, and isolated areas of Asia, such as Japan and China. The Philippines has never had a reliable existence in the highest levels of up to now. Eala has been a professional tennis player, not only making a breakthrough, shattering doors with the might of her ground strokes and the extent of her personality. The consequences of her, you can already feel their presence all across the area. Tennis Mize in record enrollment is being reported by Manila. Numbers. Parents who previously guided their kids' attitudes toward boxing or basketball are now spending money on rackets and court time. The Tennis Association of the Philippines has observed an increase in sponsorship and funding curiosity, all due to a single young lady dared to have huge dreams and support them with unrelenting effort. This is the Eala impact, and it has only just begun. Let's be honest, the path ahead is not going to be simple. The WTA Tour is a grind, a cruel, merciless marathon that evaluates more than just your physical skills, but your mental fortitude, your financial assets, as well as your assistance network. Eala is managing this landscape with her support, her coaches, her family, and a whole nation, but she's also doing it with the additional burden of being a trailblazer. Every game she participates in is closely watched. Every defeat is examined. Every triumph is honored with the ferocity of a national holiday. In relation to triumphs, let's not overlook her already successful in her early career. Eala has won 2 Grand Slams. Champion in the juvenile division, having taken home the 2021, the 2022 Australian Open and the US Open titles in girls doubles. She also asserted the US Open girls singles title in 2022, being the first person from the Philippines to win any level of Grand Slam singles title. These are not insignificant accomplishments. Components of a profession that could see her holding up a senior one day. Grand Slam trophy. However, the change from junior achievement to senior supremacy is where a lot of bright careers end up. The rivalry is more intense. There are more physical and mental demands. Eala is in that situation where the game becomes crucial. Phase of transition at the moment, and her performance at the Australian Open in 2026, even whether it ends in defeat, demonstrate that she has the resources necessary to compete at the top level. All she needs is time and expertise. And ongoing growth. Her group is aware of this, as is her coach. Above all, Alex is aware of this. Interviews, she has consistently highlighted the value of patience and procedure. She is aware of that being successful at the Grand Slam level doesn't occur suddenly. It takes years of steady performance, tactical refining, physical training, and mental fortitude. She is prepared to put in the work, and that is what distinguishes the champions dreaming. Eala also participates in philanthropic endeavors. Indicates a more thorough comprehension of legacy. She understands that her platform goes well beyond the tennis court. A society in which athletes are frequently condemned for being disconnected, or Eala is self-centered and using her resources and clout to create observable difference. The choice to contribute $1.8 million to the construction of homes for the homeless are not only giving, they are revolutionary. Those residences will offer refuge, security, and respect to people and families who might otherwise be homeless. Initiative is consistent with the principles that have a strong Filipino foundation culture, the ideas of bayanihan, collaboration and harmony among the community and malasakit. Sympathetic treatment for Eala is living up to these ideals on a worldwide platform, demonstrating to the world that trophies are not the only indicator of accomplishment and ranks, but by the favorable influence you have on other people's lives. This is the type of leadership that goes beyond sport and motivates genuine change. Yet let's return to the tennis because the immediate future is located there. The Women's Open in the Philippines is a special chance for Eala to compete on domestic territory in front of her own people with the enthusiasm and backing of a whole the country behind her might be the impetus. She must advance to the next level. There will be a lot of pressure, but Eala has repeatedly demonstrated that she thrives in stressful situations. Shy away from the important times. In their direction. The competition itself is historic. A WTA 125 in the Philippines, an event is unprecedented, and it is taking place primarily due to the curiosity, and Eala has created momentum. Sponsors, organizers, and supporters are all depending on her celebrity status to ensure the success of this event, and if she can deliver, if she is able to create a robust run and may even assert the title, it would be a pivotal point in her career and a turning point for Imagine the Scenes in Philippine tennis. Her name being chanted by the crowd, the waving the Philippine flag while standing. Each point's pressure is increased by the aspirations of millions, and in the center of it all, Alex, Eala, calm, focused, and ready to battle. This is the kind of storyline that makes sports so intriguing. This is why we watch. This is the reason we are concerned. Beyond the immediate future, the long-term course of Eala has a lot of potential in her career. If she keeps improving her skills, remain well and preserve her mental strength, there's no reason she can't enter the top 50, then the top 100, and ultimately make a Grand Slam challenge. Titles. She has the weaponry, a powerful serve, forceful ground strokes, and the power to dominate play from the baseline. She also has the intangibles, the heart, the fight, and the unwavering conviction that she should be on the largest phases. Her group will have to cautiously control her timetable, striking a balance between the requirements of the trip with the requirement for rest and recuperation. They must keep improving her strategies, determining what needs to be improved, and making certain that she is both physically and mentally equipped to handle the demands of top level of competition, and they will have to shield her from outside influences and the diversions that accompany being a national symbol. But if somebody is capable of, it's Alex. She's already displayed a maturity and poise that defies her age. She is aware of the wider picture. She is aware that this trip is not just about herself, but about everyone. She symbolizes everyone she motivates, and she is committed to maximizing this chance. Thus, this is the truth. Verify that everyone is watching. Alex Eala is 20. Her main draw is a Grand Slam under her belt. Her fan following is enormous. That competes with the most well-known names in past. Her heart is sufficiently giving to donate a wealth in order to aid the underprivileged, and she's returning home to rule. If instead than observing Alexa, you are losing out on one of the biggest fascinating tales in modern sports. Is now more than just tennis. About a legacy being constructed brick by home, brick by brick, match by match. We are seeing the initial chapters of a legend. The defeats in Melbourne, they are only plot twists. The true narrative is the ascent. The true tale is the resiliency. The true narrative is the champion who battles for each point and returns everything to the people. This is the tale of young Alex Eala, woman who is redefining what it means to be a winner on and off the court. It is the tale that will be narrated throughout many generations. Motivating innumerable young athletes should work hard and have bigger dreams, more deeply and with greater care. What do you consider Alex's amazing gift? Do you believe she can recover and accept the title in Manila? We would like to don't just sit on the sidelines. Speak up. Sidelines. Participate in the discussion. Smash that like button if you're pleased with Alexa. Leave a comment below with your message of encouragement on her return home. Above all, make sure to subscribe to Tennis on the Court and hit that alert bell. We're in the first row. Take a seat in history, and I assure you that you do not wish not to see what comes next until keep your mind on the game the next time. And your emotions on the court.
Oh, excited naman, syempre. Ang haba ng biyahe. Walang Spain, but I'm so excited to be here.